A few weeks ago, I received a comment. You should make a video about just how creepy peaceful mode is. I mean, you're in a cave, no mobs are spawning, not including bats, and the only thing you hear in the deep isolation is the sound of creepy cave ambience. Which shows that you might not be alone. Peaceful mode isn't all that peaceful. You know, I've been playing this game for over a decade, but I've never really thought about peaceful mode. And you know what? They're kind of right. So today, let's explore why peaceful mode is secretly the most terrifying difficulty. And so I spawned on a sandy beach of an island, ready to experience the horrors of Minecraft peaceful mode. Like, come on, it's peaceful mode. How bad could it be? First of all, I went to mine a tree, because I wanted a boat, since my first goal was to find a village, quickly, and without losing hunger. But then I remembered, I'm in peaceful mode. I don't need to use a boat to conserve energy. I could just sprint eternally, since on peaceful mode, you don't lose any hunger. So instead of sailing, I began to run across the sunny plains of this Minecraft world. It was so nice. The world just seemed, well, peaceful. Soon I even stumbled upon a ruined nether portal, and so I gathered all the great loot that it had to offer, and I continued onwards. My mission was unchanged. I still wanted to find a village. Now, in my quest to do so, I kept on running and I climbed a couple of trees. I also fell quite a few times, but that didn't really matter, because on peaceful mode, you heal up quite quickly, and you don't even take as much damage. And soon I was entering a jungle, one of my favourite biomes. But then my game crashed. Oops. Anyways, I loaded back onto Minecraft and clicked back onto my peaceful world. And I was back at spawn and had lost all my progress. Starting again, this time I didn't mine any wood. Instead, I decided to run in the other direction. After all, I couldn't return to the forbidden jungle. I just didn't really want my game to crash, to be honest. So I kept on running through the dense jungle and... oh, a wolf! You know what that means? Free XP. Still, I needed a village. So I ran and I ran and I ran and I found a new ruined portal. Once again, I looted it and I carried on with my journey. But by then, it was starting to get close to night and I still hadn't found a village yet. But hey, at least I found a cute fox. It looks so peaceful, sleeping there. I just left it alone. But then, just as the sun was about to set for the first time on this peaceful Minecraft world, I found it! A tiger village! Finally, I could have my food! So instantly I ran to their crops and began farming! But wait, I don't need food. Here in peaceful mode, food is optional for survival. Even still, I looted the village of all of its items, and it soon began to rain. Now, I didn't get much. There were no emeralds in any of the chests, so the village was really of little use to me. And so, I left. By then, it was a dark, rainy night. It should have been scary. This is one of the tensest ambiances in Minecraft. But today, it wasn't. There were no zombies, nor any skeletons, nor any creepers. I was all alone, yet safe. I mean, this was peaceful mode after all. This wasn't terrifying whatsoever. So I ran for a while and I found a cave. I thought, why not make a little shelter here? But I don't need to do that. There's no actual need for shelter in peaceful mode. It's just more of an aesthetic choice to have a base. So I decided to leave that for now and continue to explore this not so scary, rainy forest at night. Oh, another wolf! You know what that means? More XP. Soon I found a larger cave and entered it. I used my flint and steel from earlier looting to light up the area, and then I saw it. I was alone. The lack of mobs didn't feel comforting. It felt deliberate, as if the world had been emptied out for a reason that I couldn't quite understand, lore-wise anyway. Still, I began mining and then my fire went out. I explored deeper and got coal, which allowed me to make torches to light up that cave. And with that, I found iron, smelted it all, and made a full set of iron armor and iron tools. It was kind of useless though. like nothing was going to attack me, so I didn't really need the armor or the sword. But still, I returned to the surface, and it was still raining, but it was day now. In an odd way, it just felt really peaceful. Alright, like I enjoy the rain, and there were no creatures around to ruin that, so it was just quite nice to be there. And so I decided that for the next 3 days, I would build myself a small spruce cabin on the river. It was nothing too complicated, and I even built a small flower garden just outside. Since the Minecraft flowers are quite nice, and they do add just a little bit of colour. The only thing that was now missing from my Minecraft base was a giant subscribe button statue. But I'm sure you can help me out there, right? Right? Thank you. It was a fun time to build. There were no creeper explosion holes around, no skeletons shooting at me from the roof, and no zombie grunts hiding under my base. It was just quite a pleasant experience. My home felt peaceful. But now what? I had my ideal Minecraft house, I had all the food that I could want, being none, this is peaceful mode, and a full set of shining iron armor. So what do I do now? Well, like many of you watching, I yearned for the mines, and so diamonds became my new goal. And so I began to set up a downward spiraling staircase near my home, which I was planning to use as an entrance to a mine. But then I remembered something. I'm in peaceful mode. I could dig straight down and would be perfectly fine. And so I did just that. And sure, I came across some water, but I was safe. And soon I was at the perfect diamond level. And so I entered crawl mode and began my diamond mining adventure. Surprisingly, within 2 minutes, I had found a vein, and so I made myself a diamond pickaxe and had achieved my goal. But still, I yearned for the mines, and so I ventured even deeper. But in the dark isolation of the mines, I heard it. A creepy, ominous sound. What was that? I was all alone. This was peaceful mode. I didn't like that. What if I'm not alone after all? What if peaceful mode is all a lie? However, I didn't hear that sound again. There was something underground. I knew it. But it was hiding. Anyways, I just put that existential dread aside for one moment. This is peaceful mode, I can ignore that, right? And so instead, I began to focus on the next great quest of this world. Getting to the Nether. I had the diamond pickaxe, so all I needed was the obsidian. Now, the best way to get obsidian in Minecraft is via a lava pool. And so began my journey across this wonderful, peaceful world to find a lava pool. I ventured across rivers in warm forests, to frozen sheets of ice in the tundra, to abandoned igloos in the snowy plains. I even found a village along the way, but by the time I entered the village, it was night. You know, it felt eerily silent. The villagers were asleep, and there were no evil mobs wandering around or trying to attack the village. I quickly found the iron golem and I decided to hit it. But it didn't really respond. I hit it again. It still didn't fight back. The iron golem is supposed to protect the villagers from threats, but it just stood there, unblinking. No reaction when I struck it. Something about that just felt off. I soon left the village and continued my search for lava. It was still night, yet the world was empty. There I was in the snowy tundra, alone, isolated, and silent. It was an odd sensation. But still, I carried on and soon I had found my lava pool. And over the course of nearly 10 minutes or so, I was able to obtain all the obsidian that I desired. And then I returned home. Once back in my cabin, I made my nether portal. I then crafted a diamond sword, boots, and chestplate, as well as an enchantment table. I also created a golden helmet, but that's for reasons that I'll discuss later. I then enchanted all my newly created gear, and was now ready for the greatest challenge yet of this peaceful world, the Nether. I had 3 main goals here in the Nether. 1. barter with the piglins and get some ender pearls. 2. Infiltrate another fortress and obtain some blaze rods. And 3. Raid a bastion of all its loot. However, before I could do any of that, I needed to get out of this nether ravine that my portal had spawned in. But luckily I had my trusty diamond pickaxe with a fair amount of durability, so that shouldn't be too hard, right? I just need to mine for a little bit. Well, no, I was wrong. My pickaxe had almost entirely run out of durability, and I had just been mining in a straight line, and I still wasn't out in the open nether. My plan had, well, failed. Not great. So, anyways, I decided to turn back around and go home. You know, it felt odd wandering back. Like the strange nether sounds, the dark ambience, and the echoey footsteps, they all felt so scary. Yet, at the same time, there was nothing to fear. My nether was empty. I was all alone. In a way that just made things more terrifying. A peaceful hell dimension just doesn't feel peaceful. You're still in a hell dimension. No, I really didn't like this. I really wanted to get back to my cabin, like, now. The nether just wasn't for me in this peaceful world. But then I got lost in some tunnels, and I didn't know where I was going, and... Oh, wait, I had found it. The open nether. It was there this entire time. Oh, it seemed so peaceful, and it looked so beautiful. The eerie silence and the loneliness still remained. But now I was face to face with a wide open, free world, just waiting to be explored. I changed my mind. I didn't want to go back home anymore. I was instead going to complete the missions that I had set out to do in the first place, and so began my travels. And rather quickly, I saw it. A fortress. It was just over a lava lake. Oh, that was going to be easy. All I had to do was bridge over. And with my immense skill in speed bridging, that should be a breeze. Oh, wait. I can't actually speed bridge all that well. And so I plummeted right into the lava lake below. Well, that's not great. All my progress was about to be lost in an instant. But wait, this was peaceful. There was no risk here. I could simply swim to the shore, and even though I had just bathed in literal lava, I would receive no damage, because here in peaceful mode, lava doesn't really kill, and you heal really quickly. So I was fine. Peaceful Minecraft just makes everything easy. Well, too easy. Still, I got back up and I continued my bridge, and I was able to do it rather quickly, and more importantly, rather safely. Finally, I was in the Nether Fortress. This was going to be my first real challenge, and so I entered the first corridor. I saw a chest. Without hesitation, I opened it up, and there was a diamond in there. I was prepared to be attacked at any moment, but I was in peaceful mode. I was alone in this fortress. There was nothing here to pose any threat to my existence. I walked through that Nether Fortress, but there was something unnatural about it. The dark halls echoed, but not with the usual noises. It was too quiet. The ambient sounds aren't what they should have been. There was a persistent low hum in the background, like the world itself was holding its breath. Peaceful mode eliminates all potential threats, which does sound good, but it ultimately made this fortress feel like an ominous ruin, rather than an actual fortress. It just felt more terrifying expecting there to be something just around the corner, when there never would be. It was strange. Soon I found myself at a blaze spawner. Great! I could use this to access the end soon! However, I needed to remind myself, this was peaceful mode. There are no blazes, and there never will be. This blaze spawner before me is nothing more than a mockery, a reminder of the pointlessness of my journey here. Peace, although ideal, hinders a lot of potential progress. That didn't feel great. But still, I had my other missions, and so I continued to venture deeper into the Nether. It felt weird to not hear any gasps. The Nether was filled with eerie soundscapes, but it lacked any creatures to fully encapsulate that fear that a hell dimension should do. It was terrifying to continue bridging over the lava lake. Peaceful doesn't invoke any physical fears, but it does invoke a deep psychological one. And it was in that moment when I realised that I would make a mistake. And so once again I plummeted right into the lava ocean below. This time I was way further away from the shores. So even though, yes, I was in peaceful mode and I was healing, I didn't know whether or not I would be able to reach the surface in time before I died. What was I worrying about? This was peaceful mode. There's no challenge here. I was fine and could easily continue onwards. Soon I arrived at the Basalt Deltas, one of the most terrifying biomes in the game. With its jagged terrain and its resonant magma cubes constantly trying to hit you into lava pockets, it's quite a scary place to be. But today, it was empty. After a short while of travelling, I stumbled my way into a bastion. This was it. This was going to be my greatest challenge yet, and so with my sword in hand, I was ready. But once again, there was nothing. The hoglins wandered around, but they weren't attacking me. They were just evil-looking pigs. But they were as harmless as any other useless pig. And then I saw the piglins. I'd prepared for this, hence why I'd made that golden helmet back in my base. And so I was safe from them, right? And so I threw some gold at them and I began to barter, but I didn't barter too much, because I was in peaceful mode. I couldn't get blaze rods, so getting ender pearls from them wouldn't really help that much. The end was off limits for me, and a lot of their other items are kinda useless. I then explored around the bastion and I opened up some chests, but there was no one stopping me. And sure, the loot was great, but it didn't feel earned. It felt too free. And to me that just made it less valuable. The hard to get items are expensive and valued because they're hard to get. In a way, I felt deeply empty. And so I left the bastion. I just didn't see the purpose in really being there. There was no challenge to overcome and nothing worthwhile to do. Soon I saw another fortress and I decided to go investigate. But much like everything else, it was empty. Nothing there had any meaning to it. Who would have thought that peaceful would make the Nether a worse dimension? And so, using some of my obsidian, I made a portal on that fortress and I returned home to the overworld. As I climbed out of the cave network that the portal had generated me into, I watched the moon above me rise into the sky. To me, this was a cosmic reminder of the futility of a perfect, peaceful world. Nothing's great when everything's great. You need the challenge and hardships in order to appreciate the good and great things. Over the next few days, I sailed back towards my cabin. I was thousands of blocks away, so it was going to take some time. The moonlight illuminated the ocean surface, but beneath it, the water was a deep, endless void. What was down there? Waiting. It can't be nothing, can it? That just doesn't seem right. Eventually, I set my sights on a mushroom island. Hey, those are interesting places to be. And so I took a slight detour to go investigate. Oh, it was so tranquil. There were only mushrooms and mushrooms. It was nice. But only these islands should feel this way, not the entire world. These are meant to be special islands of peace in a sea of danger of a perilous world. But today they were just like everything else. So what's their purpose? I wandered around for a short while and stumbled upon a large flock of mushrooms. They had no purpose. So I decided to give them a purpose. Death! And so I slaughtered the entire herd of mushrooms. But still, it felt meaningless. This exertion of power didn't fill the void that I was feeling in this peaceful world. I couldn't eat their steaks, and the leather didn't really help. Like, sure, I had just gained a load of XP, but in a utopia of peace, what use is XP? Enchantments? Those aren't really needed. It doesn't mean anything. and so I leapt back on my boat and returned to my oceanic adventures. What was the point in all this? There was no risk in anything, and so all these great achievements, well, they weren't great achievements. They were just easy to do actions. They weren't worth much. It's the challenge and hardship that provides value to these actions. Peaceful removes the challenge, and thus removes the value. Not to mention, peaceful mode also limits our creativity. There's no accessible end dimension, nor are many automations even possible. Nor is there any reason to even become a stronger player, or even a better player. In the utopia that is peaceful mode, all challenges that provide meaning are replaced by an eerie silence and isolation. We need challenges. They give us something to overcome, and they give us a purpose. Now, in peaceful mode, there are no physical threats, sure, but every time I turned around, I was always half expecting to see something, just a flicker, a shadow, but there was never anything. This emptiness was more terrifying than any mob. It's a psychological threat. That's what makes peaceful mode the most terrifying difficulty of them all. Peaceful mode strips away danger, but what it leaves behind is far worse. A hollow, empty world, where the silence screams louder than any mob ever could. And as I returned to my base, one more thing came to my attention. In addition to peaceful being psychologically terrifying, it was also somewhat boring, and because of that there was very little incentive to stay with the world, improve it, and create something great. This peaceful world will forever be hollow, never achieving greatness. An entirely peaceful utopia is a terrifying concept. Without loss and suffering, there is no life and soul to a world. There's no other way to put it. Peaceful mode is just terrifying. But at least we have multiplayer. I'm sure that's a really harmonious part of the game where everyone agrees to challenge one another in fun but civil ways. No. So consider watching this video to learn about the great split of Minecraft combat.